you do anything over the week? Anything fun?
Just worked.
You just worked?
During the week? Yeah, I just worked.
I like to spice up my weeks with
Some streaming or
some good quality fun. Actually, you know what? That's a good lead in. I actually did get a VR set recently.
Oh, I forgot about that. How did
VR set. Welcome everyone to this week's episode of the Midwest Take. I'm your host Jacob, as
I'm
ever, and this
Josh.
is my co-host Josh. Josh, I got into VR recently,
I know, did you?
and man, that'll take you to another realm.
I want to try it out sometime because I'm curious if it's worth getting one myself because it sounds
So
pretty fun.
I was thinking about bringing it today. Um, the only issue with it is like you could I would want to watch you play, and there's no good way for me to watch you play without it being connected to a computer,
Oh,
because you would
okay.
need to stream it to the computer as well.
So you could be watching on the computer.
So then I could watch it. So you basically need a cord that'll connect to your PC, and then you can stream it to your PC. Um,
Well, shoot, maybe the next time we come up to your place.
so that's kind of what I'm thinking over the New Year's when you guys come
Well, plus
down.
your room's mapped already anyway and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
it's all mapped, and which we could easily map this area
Yeah, I suppose
as
it's
well.
not too
we could
hard, but
we could do the studio mapping really well if we really wanted to. But VR's a great time. I was super shocked on how good it actually was. Uh,
like the graphics or like making
oh,
you
you
just
are-
the idea of being somewhere else.
you are so
Immersed?
Yeah, you were so immersed in the whole VR landscape. It's so much fun. It's so much fun.
So what do you usually go on there?
So I don't have too much on VR on my Oculus right now. I just have VR chat, which it's like a virtual chat room basically. You
Oh,
can go,
yeah, you were telling me about that.
yeah, you can go walk around as like avatars and then go talk to people. You can go play games.
You can mingle with people.
Yeah, let's just say there's okay. All right.
lot of weirdos.
So this is not the game. Oh man, it is such a. This game is such a dice roll on the quality of conversations that you are gonna have. There's some human trash on that game because it's an open.
Human trash.
It is. Oh yeah, you have. Oh man, people are yelling racial slurs at each other all the time.
Oh.
Really creepy people are drawn to this game.
Oh, I can imagine.
This game, I've wanted to stream this game for a little bit, but ever since I played the game, it makes me not want to stream it at all.
Too much offensive language
because
and stuff.
I don't know what's gonna happen at any given moment in that game.
In your live stream?
Oh yeah, because quite literally, yeah, I had someone join one of the VR servers, and then he just started yelling obscenities into his microphone. Like it is quite, it's insane. On like if you join a public room, how people act when they have like a virtual VR like character that they're talking through. It's crazy because you're all anonymous. No one knows who you are, so you can get away with saying some heinous stuff. It reminds me back in like.
You don't have usernames or anything?
Well, of course you have usernames or whatever, but
Oh,
that
okay.
doesn't matter. The internet's all anonymous anyways.
Oh, okay.
It reminds me of the era back in like 2010 playing like Call of Duty. Like
Oh,
back
there's
in,
still people that
back
say
to Call of Duty lobbies, which you would hear some batshit crazy things. Like I don't care to repeat anything that they say.
Hey, the rumor is there's people that are still banned from then.
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. And you know what? They probably deserve it. But yeah, we were all 12 years old at one point, and back in that time, yeah, you or I probably said some pretty interesting things at that point.
Well, let's just hope that job interviews don't start using transcripts from
I
Call
saw
of Duty
I
chats.
saw a post on that the other
Yeah,
day.
I know, me
That's
too.
that's so funny. Um, yeah, so I don't know. That's like the one game. So that game's free. That game's just a chat room you can go into, have fun. You can go play games. There's board games you can go play. Um, my buddy took me to a world the other day. It's all about flying all different sorts of hovercrafts and airplanes and whatnot. And that's like really fun. But when you're actually flying a plane in VR, it like it messes with your head. Like
That realistic?
you'll start to get like woozy off of because it's based off like how you pilot these planes are off like realistic mechanics,
Oh boy.
like actual real life stuff. So
About
you gotta
100
like,
different buttons in the plane.
and turns out it's really tough to fly a plane.
Well, yeah, those big jetliners, they got about 100 switches to flip.
Yeah, you don't need to really worry about that per se, but you'll worry about steering, and steering is really tough in VR because you actually have to use your hands, your controllers that you have in your hands to actually virtually steer an airplane, and then you got to adjust like your speed, um, your flaps on your plane or whatever you're flying. And yeah, being in that kind of situation, like doing barrel rolls, it really messes with your head.
Makes you real dizzy, huh?
Oh, for sure. I was getting to the point where I would almost fall over
Man.
in VR because I thought I was gonna like. It was just so surreal, just like standing up and then flying like these hovercrafts. It's really cool though. Um, I like VR. I actually explored the metaverse the other day, and you can actually go watch concerts in the metaverse if you really want to.
That sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, so I get to a concert, and it's like it's a J-pop concert. There's a
Oh,
bunch of
okay.
J-pop girls singing up on the stage, and yeah,
Yeah, that sounds
they
fun.
actually put a camera up, and yeah, you can join in the metaverse and then watch a live feed from the concert.
Wow.
And you can watch it just like you're watching a concert on TV.
Technologies these days.
And it's a huge screen because it's all self-contained in your eyes that you can have the biggest screen imaginable, and you're just watching concerts. I think they have like a ton of like iHeartRadio like little concerts on there too that you can watch. I don't remember the names per se. I think there was like Alec Benjamin. If you ever heard of that guy before, I think my sister listened to him a lot. He was having a concert. There were some comedy specials that were about to go on.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Really cool, really cool. Um, I've been wanting to play the new Batman game that's on there, but
That
I
would
also
be
want to
fun.
stream the Batman game too.
Yeah, did
but
you get that figured out?
I can't.
What?
I can't stream things. At least I haven't found a way yet. Maybe there is a way that I'm just missing and I'm dumb. So the only way I can stream games is when I actually connect it to my PC, but my PC can't do anything that's on the Meta Quest. You actually have to open up like a windowed browser in your
Okay.
Meta Quest, and then you can stream that to your computer. But like everything inside of the headset, you cannot stream. You can't cast it to your PC or whatever, so you can stream the
I
game.
gotcha.
So the Batman game, I can't even do anything with because it just won't let me stream the game.
Ah,
So I just had to play it solo, whatever. So, but that'll be exciting. And when I play games through the Steam, which is the online game application, you have a whole library or whatever. That's where all my games are all at right now. Um, there's like certain tools that you can actually have where you can see like your chat or whatever on your wrist. In the Meta Quest, if you just play a game on there, you can't do any of that. You can't. So anything streaming on Meta, you just can't do, which is a shame. A shame.
well, it sounds pretty
Um,
fun overall.
Oh, it
I
really
definitely wanna
is.
give it a shot.
Actually, I just downloaded a fishing game.
Oh, boy.
I downloaded a nice fishing game.
Well, shoot.
I downloaded a nice fishing game, and I can't wait to play that. I just downloaded it today actually, and I'm like, yep, this is gonna be my next stream game. So I'm probably gonna be fishing in VR here soon.
In
It'll
the
be
warmth of your house.
in the warmth of my house. Yes. Oh God, it'll be so much fun. So much fun. Yeah, VR overall. I'm happy. I'm happy with my purchase, even though it was very expensive. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a shot, and maybe I'll get my own VR.
Yeah. As long as you don't get dizzy. As long as you don't get any. As
think
long
I'd
as
be
you don't
alright.
get motion sickness
Not like
or whatever.
epileptic or
Um,
anything.
there can be a little bit of that.
I'm
like,
not.
I
I'm
joined-
not. But
I joined one world where you could definitely get epilepsy from this world that I joined to. It was basically like you join this world and you can play music in this world, and when you play music, there's like lights that correspond to like the beats of the music. So you'll just get a whole array of colors just like flashing at you.
oh, okay.
And like you could ride around on like grind rails or whatever, like you're Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh.
Yeah, like you're skating around, just kind of like their colors are flashing everywhere. There's rails that you can ride into the color wave too, so you can experience all the colors. Very trippy. It's a heck of an experience too. I recommend it. I recommend it. But other than VR, streaming's like I just stream Overwatch every single day. Which recently, this might actually entice you, and you will never play Overwatch probably. There is a Avatar collaboration coming.
Oh,
to
is there?
Overwatch. Yeah, yeah,
Sweet.
yeah. They just announced for the new season. They announced Avatar collaboration.
Heck
So my money is gonna be out the window here soon. They had a skin for Appa. They
Oh,
have a skin for Aang. They had a skin for Zuko. And of all character, what do you think that last character is? Oh no, there's one more character. There's Toph. And then
Toph.
there's one last character. Who's the last character that you think got a skin? Of the trio, of the quad, like of Team Avatar. Who do you think got the?
I bet it was Sokka and his
Nope.
boomerang. It was Katara.
Nope.
Oh wait, you're talking like the whole show?
I
or
mean, in the
main
cast,
character or
in the cast of Avatar.
Oh, I bet it was the cabbage guy.
No,
Oh, that'd have been so cool. My cabbages.
it was Suki.
Oh, that makes sense.
Suki got a
Okay, that makes
character.
sense. I wasn't thinking of Suki.
Yeah, but there's a character
I
that
do like Suki.
there's a character that paralleled Suki really well, so it makes sense.
Kyoshi Warrior. Yeah, I should have figured that.
There's a lot of controversy around that because that character gets a lot of love because they're a new character and they're a very popular character. And they've been getting skins like crazy while other characters just get left in the dust. A lot of people might not be very happy, but I'm happy because I like that character.
Ooh, Suki?
I like Suki and the character
Oh, yeah.
that
Oh,
they
the character
gave
that's in there.
that they gave the skin to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they gave the skin to. I think it looks really cool. I'm gonna have to show you a picture of it.
for sure.
Yeah. So today's episode, let's get into the meat and potatoes of this episode. Why don't we? I thought we'd talk about just in general. Let's talk about anime.
Oh boy.
Let's talk
Your
about
bread
anime.
and butter.
Yeah.
Your bread and butter.
For those who don't know, well, I'm an avid anime watcher. I keep up with a lot of things throughout my day. Not a lot of people like anime. I think it's coming around more and more than it has back in the day. Do you remember like early like teens, like the early 2010s or whatever? There was just no following whatsoever.
No,
like,
only
you
like
were-
the big ones like Naruto.
You were looked at as, but just anime in general was perceived as really loser material. Like
Oh,
if you're watching
yeah.
it, like the perception on it, especially for us, we went to relatively small schools, and there's not a lot of following.
No, you didn't hear much about anime, and the people
No.
that did, you probably were labeled as a nerd.
Those guys were getting bullied.
Like,
those guys
oh,
were
you're an anime nerd. you know.
Definitely getting bullied. And yeah, I was one of those kids. Sadly, growing up, like especially when I got to high school, is when I really started getting into anime and started buying merchandise and whatever for my. I would always wear like an Attack on Titan shirt.
Good one.
There was like a Dragon Ball sweatshirt that I had, and I was really starting to get my heels into the anime scene, and yeah, I wasn't perceived very well for liking a very weird medium that has a very bad perception. But nowadays, I think that perception has been flipped on its head.
A
For
lot
the
more
most part.
people watch. A lot more people watch anime. Like
Oh.
diverse group of people watch anime.
Oh, for sure. And you can really tell how much anime has exploded um, from, its inception all the way to where we are now, just because of how mainstream. Basically, I see my catalyst for if something is popular is if it's in a hot topic. If you see like
like Hot Topic merch.
yeah, if you see like a shirt or whatever from one of these anime series at a hot topic, that show is pretty big. It has some mass appeal.
So what do you see at Hot Topic? I would say like Naruto, probably One Piece, maybe.
I would say I haven't been to a hot topic in
Yeah, I
a
don't
long
really shop
time.
there, but-
I used to. I used to be a big fan of the hot topic. I used to buy a lot at the hot topic. Let me tell you what.
What else would you
Basically
say?
shows that have still have appeal to this day. I would say a lot of the
The Demon Slayer. There's a lot
so
of Demon Slayer. gear
Demon
around.
Slayer's a juggernaut as of recent years. That show has had so much popularity.
Good
It's
show,
made
really good
so
show.
much money. So much money that show has made.
Really good.
Personally, not my favorite show. I've watched all of it for what it's out right now, and it's a whatever show.
It's pretty good.
I've watched a lot of shows though, so I have a lot to really draw from. But it's a shonen show. It follows the same formulas that a lot of like your Naruto's, like your Dragon Balls, like they all kind of follow the same formula.
Yeah, I hear you on
And
that.
but those were the big ones that kind of brought those formulas to life. They brought the tropes that we love nowadays to where we are at with anime. But I would say at Hot Topic, so you see your Demon Slayers, Jujutsu Kaisen, that's also a big one. Have you never watched Jujutsu Kaisen, JJK? You've never seen that before?
Maybe like a little bit of the first episode.
You need to watch that.
Pretty sure I watched a little bit of the first
That
episode.
one has really exploded in popularity in the last years. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It has some great animation. Storytelling's really good. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite per se. Just because it is so popular and that people when a show is popular, it gets shoved down your throat a lot of times.
Yeah.
And but I could still appreciate the show. I know why it's so popular and it makes a lot of sense. Character designs are amazing and the show's just good in general. Like so Jujutsu Kaisen, that's a big one. I would say at Hot Topic there's a lot of cutesy things there too. Like I would say any like Studio Ghibli things like My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, Spirited Away, are like the big Ghibli films that get a lot of representation. Sailor Moon, there's a lot of Sailor Moon there. What else is in a Hot Topic? There's probably a lot of Dragon Ball stuff, of course.
Oh, of course.
A lot of
course,
Dragon
lot of
Ball
Dragon
stuff. People still love Dragon Ball. What else is?
Dragon Ball's like timeless.
Yeah. It actually did come out with a new series this year. That is people are really loving. I haven't watched a lot of
Dude,
I've watched like all the original Dragon Balls.
I just remember the weeks long thing with who's the pink guy again?
Frieza. Or no, oh, you're talking Majin Buu.
Jimbu,
Majin Buu,
Majin Buu.
or just Buu in general.
Boo.
The
Yeah,
Buu, the
yeah.
Buu saga.
I just remember he's holding his hands up, drawing power from the people of Earth for like.
No, you're talking about Frieza. He's purple.
No, I'm talking. I don't
You're-
know if it was Gohan or Goku, but to beat Boo, he had to like get stronger or something. I thought.
Well, that was Goku when he channeled everyone
Goku,
for
yeah.
the spirit bomb.
Yeah, to hit. Was he gonna hit
He
Boo
was
with
holding he was holding his hands up in the air for a long time.
it? Yeah, drawing
Yeah.
the power.
Yeah, that was Goku.
Was he fighting Boo? I don't even remember.
No, he was fighting Frieza. That was like early Dragon Ball Z.
Son of a gun! I'm like all mixed up.
Yeah,
It's
I
been so
mean,
long.
I think Gohan.
Boo had the different
So
forms,
there
right?
there
like he
there
was,
they all have different forms.
he was like a gluttonous guy, then he was like a skinny guy, then he was
Yeah,
like a little kid.
Everyone has different forms. People have different forms up the wazoo
Well,
in that
yeah,
show.
of course.
There's a lot of things. I think what happened at the end of Boo Fight, spoiler, is Goku actually fed him so much energy that he exploded.
Oh,
He sent him, yeah, he might have threw a spirit bomb at him or whatever, and then he basically ate up all that energy. But it was so much energy that he couldn't handle it. So then he touched Majin Buu and he sent him to like another like galaxy pretty much, and he just exploded.
wow.
Yeah, I think he sent him to King Kai's like planet or whatever, and he exploded on that.
Hey, you know what's awesome though about
I don't
watching
remember.
animes now, like on streaming service?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the suspense. Like growing up, you'd watch Dragon Ball Z, and he'd be like about to throw the spirit bomb. Or
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I'm not
No,
very
go
up
on.
to date on it.
Yeah,
but,
sure.
You know, and then like, oh, and we'll leave you on a cliffhanger. Or like I watched a lot of Naruto, they'd leave you on a cliffhanger. Now you can watch the show straight through. You can binge it. Unless you're watching a new one that's coming out episode by episode, but most of the time I'm
So-
watching older ones.
Yeah, and that is really nice, especially when you are watching those old slogfest of shows.
Because that drove me
'Cause
crazy as a kid.
Things really drag, especially in like Dragon Ball Z, man. When you have Goku just holding his hands up for like 5-6 episodes,
Yeah, I
just
know.
trying to, it was just all filler content.
Same with Naruto Shippuden, with a lot
And-
of filler.
And there's reasons for that. There's reasons why those filler episodes exist.
Well, a lot of times, isn't it because the manga?
Yeah, it's-
manga is.
The manga isn't caught up yet.
Yeah.
So then they have to stall time for them to release new chapters.
Well,
That's the
good
only
God.
reason why.
Naruto, 500 episodes on Shippuden. Oh my goodness, so many of them are filler.
Yep, and that
You'll
was
have
the
15 episodes in a row. It's just random stories that do not make any sense with the actual main storyline.
so people really are clamoring for a Naruto remake.
Really,
for sure.
Shippuden or
Just
whole thing.
the original series and probably Shippuden too.
they could just do one long
Ju-
run.
just
to be
cut the filler out. That's
Oh.
all they want to do. They just want to get straight to the point. I think they're doing that with One Piece right now. One Piece, a notorious, very long show.
Even longer than Shippuden.
It's almost at 1,300 episodes
Holy
right now. I'm
smokes.
pretty sure. But a lot of that is also filler content. So they currently are doing like a remake of sorts with a different studio, and they're just basically gonna go through One Piece as is and just cut out all the filler episodes and get through all the to the main meat of the story, you know. And that would help so much
Oh,
for
definitely.
getting more people into One Piece. I'd say for One Piece, the best thing that actually got me into One Piece, even though I don't follow it too closely, was the live action One Piece
Oh,
that they
okay.
came out with on Netflix. That I was very skeptical on One Piece. I wasn't a huge like
Well, because you've had some live action animes that weren't good, right?
yeah, there's been a whole slew of those. There's been
Which one did you not like? The Cowboy Bebop one or the?
Cowboy Bebop one, I didn't. I finished it all except for one episode. The last episode,
They said
I-
there was one you didn't really care for.
I didn't mind the Cowboy Bebop live action. Of course, it very pales in comparison to what the animated series brought to. And then what I didn't like is that it got axed after one season.
Yeah, it
Um,
doesn't do it much
because
justice.
where they were leaving off on was like basically halfway through the series, and I don't think a lot of people really liked it per se, but it still had a following, so people really wanted a season two.
Just to see.
But when it got announced that they were not renewing it for a season two, I think a lot of people really got bummed out.
Well, yeah, I hate it when a show like
Yeah.
doesn't
But
finish.
Netflix is notorious in doing that.
Put out
The-
a show, you like
yep.
it, and then they're like, oh, yep, not gonna.
Yeah,
renew
they
it.
only give it one season, done. Yeah, I didn't mind the Cowboy Bebop. I'm trying to think of other live action shows,
Thought there was another one. You
like
didn't really care
animated
for.
shows. None are coming to my head right now. I could probably look it up real fast. Um,
Oh man, I thought there was.
but
more.
I think the best thing has been the One Piece live action. That has definitely got me more interested in One Piece than I think I ever have been, because looking at the episode count was so daunting.
So, question about One Piece. Sorry to interrupt,
Go on.
but is the filler? Does it make sense at least, or is it like Naruto and it's just random stories that make no sense?
Naruto.
It's like
I haven't personally seen One Piece, like any really of it, but from what I can guess, filler is basically just side stories that have,
it's all flashbacks to like part one,
Yeah.
or it's like it's
Well-
just stories that contradict things that already happened. You know what I mean? Like it makes no sense.
and what filler is supposed to do. Yeah, it's supposed to add storylines, but they don't have any meaning on the main story. They have nothing because they have nothing. They're just making episodes out of thin air until the manga catches up, and that is what I think One Piece also does a lot of that, because they have the flashbacks, they have the intro that
Oh,
last.
God, the flashbacks.
You probably only get out of an episode of One Piece, maybe you get like 10 minutes of like
Content.
original content
Oh my god.
before the episode ends, because you have the intro, and then you have the ending, but then you have all the flashbacks in that episode. I think I saw a super cut of one episode where like 70% of the episode was flashbacks,
That would
and-
be kind of annoying.
and they cut down the episode to what was actual real content, and I think it was around 5 minutes.
See, I wouldn't. I don't know. Well, I
Yep.
guess I've watched most of Shippuden, so I can't talk.
No.
I've watched all the filler.
Yep. Yep.
So it's just to say I watched all 500, but I'm not there yet.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, live action has had a
Did you watch the Avatar: The Last Airbender
oh,
live action?
you know what? Really, the Death Note live action.
Ew.
The Death Note
Ew.
live action, I was not very hot on.
Is that the one with Willem Dafoe?
It
as
was.
the
Willem Dafoe was great.
Shimigami.
Willem Dafoe was great in
Who
Death
played
Note
Light? I
as
thought it was
Ryuk.
somebody-
Some Zac Efron looking guy. I don't know. Some
Oh, I
edgy
think it
Zac
was
Efron
Nat-
looking guy.
I think it was Nat Wolf.
No way.
Let me look it up. Maybe I'm wrong. And it might be the guy from the Naked Brothers band.
I
Nickelodeon show,
don't.
but
I don't know. Some emo looking twink guy. I wasn't really paying attention that much, but I watched Death Note, a live action movie on Netflix, and yeah, it was just, I don't even remember much what happened. But yeah, it wasn't very good. I gotta say, it wasn't very good. But Willem Dafoe was a very good Ryuk. Really liked him as Ryuk. He was good. I would say overall live action. Who was it?
It was Nat Wolf
Oh, it
from
was
Naked
Nat-
Brothers band.
Oh God.
I mean that should tell you if you're trying to play somebody like culturally from Japan.
Yeah.
Nat Wolf is not your guy. Well,
Well-
okay, that movie actually took place like in Seattle though.
No,
didn't
it
or
was
somewhere?
Japan.
Did it? The live action
Well,
one?
the anime was.
Yeah, the anime
W-
obviously
where,
took
where
place
the live
in Japan.
action was, it was like Seattle or something like that.
See,
It was in America.
So it was doomed to fail. Like it was like the Avatar: The Last Airbender movie using like people that didn't really culturally fit the cast. I think that's always a stupid.
Did you
move.
like the live action Avatar: The Last Air? I know we talked about
The
Avatar at the
movie?
beginning. Yeah, the TV show on Netflix.
Oh, the TV show. I think.
Yeah, the live action.
God, I don't know if I watched it. I think I watched a little bit of
Oh,
it.
I thought you were like praising it one day.
I watched a couple episodes, but I
Yeah.
never finished it. I completely
Oh, yeah.
completely forgot. I think I got sidetracked. I got to go back and finish it.
Well, did you like what you saw?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
think it was better than
The movie,
the movie?
anything's better than the movie. You
Anything
could
better?
scratch nails on a chalkboard.
I
It'd be
had
better
the
than
oh
the
man,
Shyamalan movie.
I had the worst. I had the worst reaction to that movie.
That
I just
that made me so mad. I was like,
Oh.
that was so disrespectful to the show.
like 13-year-old me or however old I was watching that movie. I was so disappointed.
It's disrespectful.
Very.
Not pronouncing the names right. I mean, come on. Everything about that movie sucked.
It was so. It was a like even like my standards for back in the day. They weren't very high. I liked a lot of things, but when it came to Avatar, it was not it. I knew it.
Avatar Ong, Sokka,
I think
Katara, or something like that.
Katara might have been the same. Maybe
Katara,
it was
but they call it like Sokka and
Sokka
Ong.
and Ong. Yeah.
I'm like, dude, don't. If you want a movie to be successful, don't like disrespect the fans like that, because you do that, and he did them dirty.
I'm very excited for the actual animated Avatar movies to come out next year. They got I think next year they announced 3 movies, I think.
Is it gonna be like Dean Marino?
So we got so the original cast is coming back. So Team Avatar is getting a whole movie.
So is it gonna be like the original writers then? Hopefully.
Yeah. Yep,
Okay,
the
good.
original writers are back. I think there was 3 more. There was either 3 or 2 movies. I think there's a Team Avatar movie might be coming out. There's a Zuko movie and the new Avatar, the new
Like Korra?
Earthbender
Oh,
Avatar.
after.
Yeah, after Korra.
Oh.
Yeah. I think there was 3 movies. I could be wrong. They had a slate of movies coming out for 2025, 2026, and 2027. So it's very. I'm very excited to see what they do. Hopefully those come to cinemas as well. I would love to see that in a cinema. Would you consider Avatar anime?
Hard to say.
That's like the biggest debate. Like people were like, "Is this
Kinda.
actually anime?"
I would say it's about as much anime as Naruto is. It's like mainstream.
But Naruto is anime.
Yeah, Naruto is anime.
Yeah. But it,
Well, okay, Avatar maybe not so much, because I don't think that
Avatar was
even
on
written.
Nickelodeon.
Avatar was on Nickelodeon. I don't think it was Japanese writers that
No,
wrote it. It
but
was
I think
American
people
guys.
associate.
The culture kind of fits anime, but
Yeah, I think because they drew a lot of inspiration. When you draw a lot of inspiration from like a medium like anime, you can tell it's apparent. But they did it really well.
they did it really well. But I still don't think you can call it anime if it didn't come from
So
the area where anime
I guess that brings up.
originates.
So, okay, Batman. So there was a animated Batman film that came out. I think it was Batman. I think it was the future Batman 2099 or Batman Beyond.
Batman Beyond.
The Batman Beyond movie came out. I think it was the Joker movie where the Joker was Return of the Joker or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I like that. It's a good movie.
So that movie, Batman is notoriously known like in the West. You know, he came out of the West. He was
Mhm.
developed in the West. But that movie, all the animation came out of Japan,
Okay.
even though it was an English movie. You know, it was intended for English audiences. They did all the voice acting in English.
I don't know. I would,
Would you consider that anime?
probably not. I'd consider that more like
But
a cartoon.
the animation came out of Japan. You know, it's
But
like hard.
doesn't
It's
fit
hard to
the
say.
it doesn't fit the theme of like there's probably no like if anime always comes out in Japanese and it's subbed and then eventually it gets dubbed.
Yeah.
But I doubt there was a sub for that or anything. Like
No, there was.
did it started off subbed or it started off in English? Like,
no,
'cause
it probably started off English.
Because to me, that's like the big thing is if it.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's-
it definitely started off English. Yeah, so I think the storyboards were all in English, but then they
They did a Japanese.
got the
version.
Japanese they got Japanese animators to animate the scenes pretty much. So, you know, is that anime like per se? You know,
don't know, I
it's kind
kinda
of it's kind of a weird line.
I have like strict guidelines for what's anime and what's not.
And in the end, it doesn't really matter.
No, but
It doesn't really like if you consider Avatar anime, that's fine.
I don't know if I do though.
I think Avatar was a good gateway into the medium of
Consider
anime
it more
though.
like a cartoon.
Because
than
well, but it was different.
anime.
It was way different than anything cartoons
Fair enough.
like any cartoon that came out because it actually had a storyline.
Yeah,
not
that's
not
true.
a lot of cartoons had a storyline. It would be a like a story of the week episode where you would have, oh, what's Ed and Eddie getting up to today?
But
You know,
yeah, they never had continuations.
yeah, there was
like, rarely.
always there was never a storyline. It's a monster of the week episodes pretty much, or like Scooby Doo that never had a storyline.
No,
They were
not
just
usually.
different mysteries that people would go solve. And of course, later Scooby Doo do like Mystery Incorporated.
Yeah, they had more.
Man,
of a
that
storyline.
had a crazy.
That was a good show.
That was a good
It
show.
was a really good show.
Man, I wish they'd do more with that. But I think a lot of cartoons later on really started going into the storyline aspects, like Adventure Time.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Adventure
definitely.
Time, regular show,
Sometimes
a little bit.
sometimes it'd be a continuation,
The big one was Adventure Time.
like one long story.
Oh my god, the Adventure Time lore.
Adventure Time's a good show. I didn't watch a lot of it, but I
Adventure
watched a
Time
little
was
bit.
great. I think that was a big catalyst on when people really started like, oh, let's just throw more lore into our cartoon series, and like get the fans guessing
Well,
what's
I
gonna
like the
happen
idea
next.
more of like continuations than like random episodes, depending on the show.
Mm.
Certain shows are better
Yeah.
off doing one-offs.
So, but Avatar, yeah, Avatar, like compared to all the other like traditional like cartoons back in that time, your Foster Home for Imaginary Friends, Courage the Cowardly Dog, Dexter's Laboratory, whatever. They never had a storyline. This actually had a storyline. This is if you missed an episode, you wouldn't know what's going on.
So they've basically forced you to watch every episode.
Pretty much, and it's kind of like Pokemon too. Even though Pokemon is, Japanese, it's traditionally Japanese, but we know as a cartoon, it is Japanese because if you miss like an episode at a storyline, if you
Yeah.
miss an episode, like Ash has
Next-
his Charmander. Next episode, I missed that episode. What? Missed that one. What's going on in this next one? Oh, why does Ash have a Charizard now? What happened?
Yeah, no, I consider that more anime than Avatar, obviously.
So I think it drew a lot of inspiration from that, where you had to be there to watch the newest episode coming out every single week for
How
what
much-
Avatar.
how much Pokemon did you watch anyway? I
A
think
lot.
I've only ever seen like Indigo League.
A lot. I watched a lot of Pokemon growing up.
Well, I know the voices changed after a while, and he started hanging with different people, and I didn't like that.
Yeah, from generation to generation.
I just
yeah.
liked Brock and Misty.
Yeah, because they had to get the kids to. Well, in the end of the day,
I
you're,
just feel like
you're
Indigo-
just trying to sell more things to kids. That's all you're trying to do.
Well, like Indigo League was a classic, and that's kind of why I watched that one. I
I watched like Diamond and Pearl, Black and
am
White.
sure it's still going.
Not with Ash anymore. No more Ash.
Wow.
Nope. They Ash actually spoilers. He finally won the Pokemon championship. He finally won.
That took a long time.
Yeah, he finally beat the
All those
Elite Four.
badges.
He finally won a championship after like 20 years or
After
whatever.
all those badges, all those gym badges.
20 years of being a 12-year-old boy, still trying to win.
Wow.
He finally won. And then they kicked him to the side. They took him back like Old Yeller and then took him out.
Hey,
And now they have
oh,
new
sorry.
characters. They have new characters now.
do you think Yu-Gi-Oh's anime?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh,
say.
yeah. Well,
It's
that
just,
is.
some of them are really, really mainstream anime. Like they're obviously they're anime, but they're the big ones, like Pokemon, Naruto, Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, and those
They're just
are
the mainstream ones.
pretty much a lot of our childhood was anime.
like
just we
early anime.
just we
early
never
anime.
knew about it because we had no.
Didn't know what anime was.
Like we knew something was a little off about it, a little bit.
Well, it was all Toonami.
Yeah, there was
Un-
something a little bit like, but there was something strange to it. It wasn't like you couldn't compare your Naruto's to your like codename Kid Next Door or
Well,
something
no.
like that. You could they weren't comparable. There was a little something off about it. I had no idea growing up what the difference was between a cartoon and anime. Like my notorious favorite cartoon was Zatch Bell, and I had no idea that was an anime until later on in life, where I'm like, oh, this thing I thought was a cartoon was actually an anime. That's crazy.
Well, because you'd see all of them together. Like Cartoon Network would play regular cartoon shows, and then on
Yep.
Friday night on Toonami, they'd play
Or like-
Yu-Gi-Oh, or they'd play Pokemon,
Or like Beyblade.
Naruto.
Beyblade or even Bakugan would come on. Those are all anime too.
Yeah, that throws me off. Threw me
Yeah,
off.
those are all
Was
all
it
anime.
grouped? Was it
but-
grouped together back then as anime though?
No,
So
No,
that's
they
why
were-
there was no title like
they
we're
were
gonna-
all advertised as cartoons because if you told a little kid, "Oh yeah, this is anime," I think it was just easier.
Well, you would never know like Yu-Gi-Oh was in Japanese originally, and
No,
it wasn't.
no,
Those
you,
ones were straight English.
no. What? No, they were all straight Japanese.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you would never know that they were Japanese first, and then you're watching the dubbed version on.
Well, yeah, they were
Toonami.
straight English to the States, yes, but yeah, they all started out as English.
but we
and-
didn't know that.
No, and we wouldn't have known until later on, until your cousin brought you ripped episode 190 of Yu-Gi-Oh, and it's all Japanese. You know.
Oh yeah, like my cousin had the Japanese Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like he had Exodia, and it was in
Yeah.
Japanese, and I'm like, what the heck?
Yep. And God, I could talk about Yu-Gi-Oh all day.
Yu-Gi-Oh was the shit, man.
I actually have a Yu-Gi-Oh card on the back of my phone
I
right
noticed
now.
that. Is that a
And
Blue Eyes?
no, you said that last time. No, that's a Stardust Dragon.
Well, okay, I'm not in the new gen Pokemon. I'm
That's a-
thinking over here like the
New
original
gen
Pegasus.
Pokemon. No,
Pegasus Castle.
I was thinking about putting Dark Magician Girl on the back.
Oh,
but
that would be
I
cool.
decided with Stardust Dragon. I really like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's I'm getting more and more back into it nowadays. Just something about it. Just it has a draw to it for the past few years for me. I really dropped off on it. I've always had an interest, but I think more now and nowadays I have come back around to it.
Did you
to
watch-
actually appreciating it?
Did you watch like the shows after like Yugi and all them? Like
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was. He like went to a school and he had like a red coat, and then
Yeah.
there was like you'd move up to yellow and then blue.
Yep.
Which one was that?
Yu-Gi-Oh GX.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yu-Gi-Oh GX. It goes Yu-Gi-Oh Duel Monsters, Yu-Gi-Oh
Duel Monsters was
GX. Then it goes Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, and then it goes Yu-Gi-Oh Zexal.
Wasn't there one where they're driving motorcycles on a track? while they were-
Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds,
Ah,
and then it goes.
it's crazy, man.
Then it goes Yu-Gi-Oh. It goes.
It completely changes.
Yeah, it goes Yu-Gi-Oh Zexal, and then it goes Yu-Gi-Oh Arc 5, and then it goes Yu-Gi-Oh Vrains, and then after that it's Go Rush and whatever. Yu-Gi-Oh's kind of a, especially when it comes to like the anime side of it, it's kind of a shell nowadays, because right now where Yu-Gi-Oh's currently at right now, there is not an anime tie to the current card game. It's kind of
Oh.
spun off to a separate card game that the main anime currently performing right now, it's not going off the main card game that we know and love. It's following another Yu-Gi-Oh adjacent card game.
Oh boy.
Yeah, with a whole like different rule set.
Oh my goodness.
It's basically like a restart of Yu-Gi-Oh, even though they're keeping the main Yu-Gi-Oh still alive.
What the heck?
Yeah, it's a way different card game.
If you can't tell, I'm a creature of habit. Like I watch Pokemon Indigo League, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. I don't watch any of the. I didn't watch any of the ones
you
after.
didn't age past 2005.
Hey,
That's what-
I get in the feels, man. I'm like, I like these characters. I like the voices. I don't like it when they change stuff.
that's what you're telling me. You haven't
I
aged
don't
past
like
like
when they
2005.
change stuff. I watched Battle City or whatever that was, the Battle City tournament,
Great arc. Love that.
and that's about it.
Yep. Love Battle City. Let's see what other like anime stuff can we talk about? So we were talking about live action. I think live action to kind of see off that point. I think live action definitely did a lot more harm than good
They're definitely not usually very
to
good.
because they tried to appeal So what live actions aim to do is try to appeal to
Broader
a
group.
broader, larger audience than
So
what
they're not trying to
anime
please
does.
you, the fan.
No.
They're trying to say we want to get our fans and other people
Exactly.
to like it, and that's where they screw up.
Exactly. That's kind of like what they try to do that too much, but it comes off as very it comes off very out of tune, pretty
Okay.
much. Like big companies don't keep in touch with their core audience, and then they do a 180 on what made a show actually really good in the effort to try to appeal to a bigger, broader audience. So I think live actions have done a very negative, but now I think slowly with aforementioned said One Piece, I think it's starting to go in a good way nowadays. I think so. I think there's been a lot of good developments. I guess let's talk about I guess shows I could recommend to you that you would possibly like because you're always
I'm a little picky.
yeah, you're a
I'm
little.
a casual watcher.
What show are you watching right now?
I'm
What's
watching Dr. Stone. I'm on the last episode. Season 4 comes out next year.
No,
but,
wow, you're already on the last episode.
I'm on the last episode. Season 4 comes out next year. It's
It
obviously going to be
does.
subbed, so I'm going to be waiting for the dubbed, which might be a while.
Not a subbed enjoyer. Don't like the sub.
Used to watch little sub Shippuden, not so much anymore. I like watching the English.
I am a
Dubbed.
big advocate for watching sub
like to
content.
watch
The
the
only bad
subtitles.
part about watching sub content is you have to pay attention. You have to pay attention to the
Yeah,
subtitles
see, that's
at
too much.
all time.
Yeah.
And you can't really. Well, I will say it does keep you engaged more than if you are watching dubbed content because if you're watching something dubbed, then you can understand what everyone's saying at all times, and that gives you kind of more of a leeway to actually look at your phone and kind of do whatever while stuff's going on in the background. It's kind of a cop out in my head. So I watch the subbed of stuff for the most part just because I think it came out in Japanese. I'm going to enjoy it how it came out because it makes the most sense to me. I think there's phenomenal dubs out there. I think there's a really amazing dubs, which I probably need to show you some of my favorite dubs.
For sure.
That I'm actually going to discuss it right now before I recommend. So overall, Doctor Stone, good show.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
good
great show.
Would you recommend that to
Yeah, I'd
to
recommend
the
it.
average person?
I think it's a really cool idea, and it's a lot of sciencey stuff, which I think is cool.
I think so too. I really enjoy Doctor Stone. It's got a lot of really cool. It's a really cool setting. The story is pretty cool, especially when you learn how they actually how people solidified in that show too, and what they did to. It's some anime bullshit.
Yeah,
kind of
it's kind of wild.
it is kind of
At
wild.
times you're like, how did they do that?
Exactly. There's a lot of like disbelief. You kind of got to suspend it, but if you kind of suspend that disbelief, you'll have a great time watching the show.
Yeah.
Great time. Back to dubs that I actually recommend you watch. So I don't watch a lot of shows dubbed, but there are a few notable shows that in my head you can only watch dubbed because of what they did to the show, like its reputation after. So the first show I'll recommend, which this is a very notorious show, it came out early 2000s. The show is called Ghost Stories. You ever heard of a Ghost Stories before?
No, I don't think so.
Oh boy, Ghost Stories. So, a little background behind this show. This show came out, I think, maybe turn of the. It might have came out like 2001 or two or whatever.
Since
So this show came out, and it came out in Japan. Big flop. It flopped on all metrics. People did not like the show. People didn't like the premise. The premise of the show, it's kind of like almost like a Scooby Doo kind of show,
okay.
a little bit,
Okay.
where you have like these teens that are trying to solve these
Mysteries. Or...
ghost.
oh, okay.
These ghosts are doing things that they do. I haven't watched it in a little bit. I'll have to rewatch it because it's a very good show. Um, it's a very good show for the reason I'll talk about here soon. Um, so but yeah, the Japanese interest, they were not appealed to this show. They didn't like the show, for whatever reason. I haven't actually watched the original sub, so I don't really know why it's so hated. But Japan didn't like it, so um, they were trying to license it out to get it dubbed to try to make some sort of profit on it. Their goal was like, okay, let's try to license this show out. Let's try to at least break even on the show because they were like deep into the negative when they made the show. And so then they picked it up for dubbing, and they got voice actors and whatever. Um, but they didn't care. They didn't care how the license was used or whatever. The only stipulation that the Japanese company had that made the show was, okay, you got to keep all the names the same of all the characters. All the ghosts have to have the same names, but you can do whatever else you want to the show.
Oh boy.
So
I can see where this is going.
people in the early 2000s, the voice actors went absolutely hog wild on basically saying whatever they wanted to in this show. It wasn't even part of the original script of the when the show first aired. They would just say whatever.
It was like improv.
The most improv show you will ever see. I think I read an article or watched an interview where they were like fighting to get to say the first line to try to set the situation.
Oh.
And so it would just be
so the first person to say it got to
yeah, they
like,
said it
put
first.
it in one direction.
Yeah, they had it go in like a certain direction, and then all the other characters had to bounce off each other, basically.
Oh, that sounds fun.
And this was in the time of where they would do group recordings too, where they'd have everyone in like a line basically, and they would all read their lines right next to each other. So they were just having a blast.
That sounds like fun.
I would say it is a perfect time capsule of the early 2000s because of all the references that they made. Like they would reference like super early 2000s things. You'd have this character in this show that would be constantly like praising Jesus, even though that character was not written that way at all. You would have like this black cat that would talk all the time. It'd be like very snarky, saying like off the cuff kind of things. You would have like one of the girls' little brothers. The problem with a show like this is trying to match the lip flaps.
Oh, of course.
Matching the lip flaps. So they would be speaking so fast that it would be like
it didn't line up very well.
It didn't line up at all, and they weren't trying to make it line up at all. But like in the scenes that they were talking super fast, they would just like say, you know, it just don't even. There's one scene where they're like going to like a police station, and one of the main characters is just like, "Put down the Krispy Kreme donut. We got business here."
What the heck?
Yeah, it was just like, or like, put the Krispy Kreme donut down, fatty. Like,
wow.
Yeah, it's a show I need to show you. I need to show you this.
Does that
show.
happen a lot between sub and dub? Like,
no.
You don't think they make American references to make it more relatable?
They do, in a sense.
Like, I just wonder if like you hear funny jokes if they actually say that.
This was one of their shows. So I think nowadays what dubs are doing more is they're adding more Zoomer. They're adding more Zoomer slang into the dubs nowadays.
Okay.
So like, for example, My Hero Academia. They started adding like totes and for real and like
oh God.
like he's really rizzing her up or something like that, just like Zoomer slang terms. So they can get away with a lot of things as long as it doesn't change the context too much of the show. But yeah, Ghost Stories was one of those shows where They just did not care, and they just said whatever they wanted to, and it's a hilarious show. Uh, other than that, Gushing, there's another one called Panty and Stocking
Oh
and
wow.
Garter Belt. It's a show about these two angels. They get sent down from heaven because they committed sins or whatever, and their goal is to try to defeat demons or whatever to try to get back into heaven. And it was one of those shows that also has a legendary dub. Uh, let's just say for the Panty and Stocking, it is a very sexualized kind of show. There's a lot of risque kind of things in this
Sounds
show.
like it.
And they're definitely there's a character that makes love with a lot of characters
That doesn't surprise me.
in
with
the
the
in that
title.
show. It's a very off the cuff kind of show like that too. And that show came out in like 2009, I want to say. And I think it's getting a second season here soon. Take a long time.
Wow.
I think next year is when it's getting its
Wow.
second season finally.
16 years later.
I know. Well, it took them long enough. But that also has a super legendary dub that is very good that people reference nowadays are just like, yep, that's one of the best dubs. Other than that, Cowboy Bebop, always
Cowboy Bebop, awesome show.
great show. Samurai Champloo,
Oh, I love
great
Samurai
show.
Champloo. You like Trigun?
Trigun. I haven't watched Trigun in a long
Love
time.
Death Note. Death Note's like my
Death
favorite.
Note. Yeah, it seems like I think the earlier dubs of shows, like in the early 2000s, I think were better than dubs nowadays. Just because things get dubbed really fast nowadays, they don't have a lot of time to write a good script for the most part.
I gotcha.
Because they have to be super fast on transit. Like a lot of things have like a day one dub, like right when the sub
Oh,
drops,
wow.
pretty much. So they have to be like go 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 go, record lines, record lines. I think back in the day they had a lot more time to actually craft lines and like
Make sure
scripts and
everything lined
whatnot,
up and
and make sure all the lip flaps all matched and whatever which they don't really even need to. So I think they crafted more genuine dubs back in the day than I think they do nowadays. Even though I think nowadays dubs are completely serviceable, they get
they're
the job
fine.
done.
They're fine.
Doesn't matter what medium you watch your show in, it's gonna be, it's the same show, maybe a little bit different of a context sometimes, but all in all, you can watch it either way and still get the same message across. You're gonna have a good time, so watch whatever you like. But like when it came to like 4Kids, you remember 4Kids?
4Kids?
Yeah, it was early morning TV cartoon provider. Had like Sonic X on there. I think it had Yu-Gi-Oh. You didn't really have cable.
We did for a
This
while.
was on like CW or whatever.
Oh, the CW?
The CW or whatever. Yeah,
I
it
did
had
watch some
four
of that,
kids.
but I don't remember that show.
No, it wasn't a show. It was a program.
Oh.
It was like a block. It was like a Sunday morning block
Oh.
of it was Sunday
I don't
morning.
think I watched Sunday morning.
Yeah, these are like Sunday morning cartoons. They were very notorious back in the day for basically murdering adaptations of things. They would censor very unnecessary things to make them more PC. Like
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
sure.
I think in One Piece, one of the characters was notorious for smoking. They censored it to a lollipop.
Of course they did.
In Pokemon, another notorious one was they had a rice ball. They had a rice ball in that show, and Brock in the show called it a jelly donut. 4Kids was very notorious for getting away with some heinous stuff. I wish they would almost redub a lot of the shows so they could fit to nowadays, but we have those dubs and they are what they are. I almost wish they would go back and kind of redub a few things so we can get a more accurate show and maybe less censorship too. That would help.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
in Naruto, they did that all the time.
What
Naruto.
the-
They censored the hell out of Naruto
Oh yeah.
because I
sure.
think Naruto had a ton of blood in it. They got rid of all the blood.
Yeah, it wasn't. No, there wasn't much blood. Like you'd see him get like injured, but it
Yeah,
wasn't like.
yeah. You wouldn't see blood. They censored all of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they took it all
That's
out. You
true.
would see like the cuts between the Japanese and English, and you would see tons of blood on Naruto one scene, and then you wouldn't see any in the English dub because back in that day they were more protecting the innocent minds from blood and gore and sex and violence and everything.
Yeah, I know. but I
That
feel like
they really heavily censored all that stuff for kids. Lot of good memories. They came out. They made our childhood. Um, they did a lot of that censoring. It is what it is now. But that they kind of shaped our whole childhood. I would say. You would know if you watch Yu-Gi-Oh. They were responsible for all of Duel Monsters.
oh, definitely.
So they gave us legendary voice actors as well. Dan Green voiced Yugi, great voice actor. Um, Seto Kaiba, like the
Kaiba.
the glorious voice acting work
No.
that they all did. Yeah, they really shaped our whole childhood. And for kids, they're underneath the ground. They're 10 feet under right now, but God, they were great. They were
For
great
sure.
when we had them.
For sure.
So yeah, that's enough. That was like gushing about anime 101
Hey, I
the whole
enjoyed it.
entire episode. I could go on for way longer, but
Anime's good
you,
stuff.
you don't want to hear any more anime talk from me because
Yeah,
I'll
just
get
go watch anime.
I'll get into the weeds of it. Yeah, if you have ever been questioning if you wanted to watch anime or like are very skeptical on if it's good or not, give it a watch.
Which one would you recommend? I would say go watch Death Note because I think Death Note's really good. Or
Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan was really good.
Attack on Titan.
I'd
was
say Sword Art Online.
no.
And you're gonna disagree with
Don't
that.
watch Sword Art Online.
I thought it was good.
Sword Art Online's not.
Not as good as Josh says it is.
No, it's not. But the reason why I wouldn't recommend Sword Art Online is Sword Art Online falls into that kind of creepy anime stuff that people look very frown upon
The
on
first
anime.
season's pretty good. Then it gets a little weird.
And then halfway through the season, then you kind of like go through a whole family arc, and but like there's a lot of
Yeah, it gets weird.
sexualization that I wouldn't to like your common person that is deterred from anime. And that was just like, oh, anime is all just sexualized, all girls with like big boobs and lots of fan service and whatever. The things that would turn people off of anime in the first place. I would recommend a show that doesn't have any of that. Something that you can really get into. And then you can go to the next level, and then you can go to the next level. But like I'd say Attack on Titan's like
That is a really awesome
good
show.
gateway because you don't have any of that real anime bullshit in there. That makes anime kind of creepy. In the first place, Attack on Titan's a great show. Any like Cowboy Bebop, anything that doesn't like over sexualize women right away or at all. Those shows don't. I could recommend to, and then you can start going deep into it if you really
Yeah.
want to. There's gonna be a lot of things that you just have to accept in anime as well. Yeah, kind of got to suspend your disbelief on a lot of things, and just accept the story for what it is. Don't read too deep into it. If you enjoy it at surface level, don't look at like possible plot holes, whatever.
Like Dr. Stone.
Yeah, you kind of just got to roll with the punches with it. There's gonna be a lot of weird things that you're not
That don't
used
make
to.
sense.
Going from regular like American TV shows to anime there's a stark difference and between the Japanese storytelling and the like American storytelling. But yeah, I can't recommend anime enough. I would love to get more people into it. It's tougher than you think, but nowadays it's getting a lot easier, which is a good thing. It's a good thing
Right.
for people to start getting more shows. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Anime.
What would you recommend?
Well, like I said, Death Note.
Death Note.
I think Attack on Titans is also really awesome.
Yeah, I think that's
Samurai
like.
Champloo is really good too.
I think Attack on Titan's the one I could recommend to my dad. If I can recommend it to my dad, then that's a pretty good show. I couldn't recommend Sword Art Online to my dad.
Yeah.
Could you recommend Sword Art Online to your dad?
I don't think I could recommend any anime to my dad.
I'd say Attack on Titan's one of those ones where
Very
it's like-
action packed, very cool.
yeah, it's very action packed. It
Really
has a
deep
great
story.
great
Really deep story.
storyline, great plot twist.
Yeah, it gets
overall
crazy.
really good, really good. So yeah, thank you for everyone for listening to this episode of the Midwest Take. This has been your anime episode. Let us know if you would like to hear us talk about more about anime. I know I could talk extensively about it. I was going to talk about my Anime Expo experiences, but I'll save that for a later episode
Yeah, we'll do
since we
that.
kind of went on a few tangents, but that's fine. So if you want us to talk about more anime, just let us know down in the comments. We'll read your comments. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah,
And
thank you for the
ring
support.
that bell to get more notifications on the Midwest Take when we post. We post every Wednesday to keep up with the Midwest Take.
Check out Jacob's Instagram. Sometimes he's got some cool little clips on there from the new videos.
Yeah. Maybe I need to make that into a separate Instagram. Because a lot of
is
people
yours
following
private?
my main Instagram. Yeah. I might look out for a possible Midwest Take Instagram. I know I already have one for Twitter.
Oh shoot, I gotta get on there and follow.
But I don't post a lot on there. It's just still pretty bare bones. But hopefully for the future, hopefully for the new year,
Maybe that
I'll
can be
I'll
one of
up
your
my
resolutions.
I'll up my social media game.
Be one of your resolutions to get your own
Yeah,
Instagram for the Midwest Take.
that is true. Maybe there's a lot of things in the new year I want to try to do get my goals in for. Get my goals. But thank you everyone for tuning in. And I've been your host Jacob. And as always, my host Josh. Josh,
Have a good one, everybody. Thank you for the support.
everyone have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you around.
Bye now.
Bye bye.